Sophocles' Oedipus at Colonus, written near the end of the playwright's life and performed posthumously in 401 BCE, continues the story of Oedipus years after the tragic events of Oedipus the King. Now old, blind, and exiled, Oedipus arrives at Colonus near Athens with his daughter Antigone, seeking a final place of refuge and peace. Sophocles' literary style is poetic, solemn, and deeply reflective, combining Greek tragedy with religious imagery, prophecy, and philosophical meditation. Unlike the relentless discovery and catastrophe of Oedipus the King, this play focuses on acceptance, reconciliation, and the transformation of suffering into dignity. Its major themes include fate, exile, guilt and innocence, justice, family loyalty, divine will, redemption, and the search for peace after suffering. Oedipus at Colonus remains important as the final chapter of Oedipus's life, transforming the once fallen king from a figure of disgrace into one whose mysterious death carries sacred meaning and lasting power. The story starts with Oedipus arriving near Athens after many years of exile from Thebes. He is old, blind, exhausted, and guided by his loyal daughter Antigone. They stop in a grove outside the city, not yet realizing exactly where they are. The place feels sacred, and when a citizen of Colonus appears, he warns them that ordinary people are not allowed to remain there. Oedipus asks which powers rule the grove and learns that it belongs to the Eumenides, the goddesses connected with fate and ancient justice. This news changes everything for Oedipus. He refuses to move because he remembers an oracle from Apollo that said he would die in this very kind of holy place. His suffering has brought him here, and now he believes his long wandering is nearing its purpose. He sends the citizen to call Theseus, the king of Athens, because Oedipus has something important to offer the city that receives him. The chorus of Colonus enters and is horrified that strangers have stepped onto forbidden ground. They pressure Oedipus and Antigone to move to the edge of the grove, then question them about who they are. When Oedipus finally reveals his name, the chorus recoils at once. They know the terrible stories attached to him, the man who killed his father and married his mother. They beg him to leave, but Oedipus insists that he committed those acts unknowingly and should not be treated as if he chose evil. He also warns that the city which protects him may receive a powerful blessing. His words are forceful enough that the chorus agrees to wait for Theseus before deciding his fate. Before Theseus arrives, Oedipus's other daughter Ismene comes to the grove. She has been gathering news from oracles while Antigone has stayed beside their father as his guide. Ismene brings painful news from Thebes. Oedipus's sons, Eteocles and Polynices, are fighting over power. Eteocles has taken control of Thebes, while Polynices has gone to Argos and is preparing to attack with an army. Creon, who is ruling alongside Eteocles, is also involved in the struggle. Ismene explains why everyone suddenly wants Oedipus. An oracle has declared that the place where Oedipus is buried will bring protection and good fortune to that land. Because of this, Creon is already on his way to Colonus, hoping to seize Oedipus and control where he is buried. Oedipus is furious. His sons did nothing to stop his exile when he needed them, so he swears that neither one will receive his blessing or support. The chorus tells him he must make peace with the spirits whose sacred ground he has entered, and Ismene goes to perform the proper prayers and offerings. The chorus continues pressing Oedipus about his past, forcing him once again to speak about the crimes that have defined his life. Oedipus repeats that he did not knowingly kill his father or marry his mother. His guilt is tied to fate, not intention. When Theseus finally arrives, he does not treat Oedipus like a monster. He says he knows the old king's story and feels pity for him. Oedipus is grateful that Theseus does not demand another full confession. Instead, he asks for protection and for the right to be buried in Colonus. Oedipus tells Theseus that his body will become a blessing to Athens, but also a reason for conflict, because Thebes will eventually want to claim him. Theseus asks why Oedipus does not simply return to Thebes if they want him so badly. Oedipus answers by pouring out the bitterness of his exile. Thebes rejected him when he was powerless, and now it wants him only because the gods have made him useful. Theseus promises that Athens will not betray him and that no Theban will take him by force. Soon afterward, Creon arrives with guards. He pretends to come peacefully, saying that he wants to bring Oedipus home and end the shame of his wandering. Oedipus does not believe him. He knows Creon wants control of his burial place, not reconciliation. Oedipus refuses to return to Thebes and says he seeks only the peace of death. Creon drops the mask of kindness and orders his men to seize Antigone and Ismene. The chorus condemns him but cannot stop him. Creon then threatens to drag Oedipus away as well. Just as the situation turns violent, Theseus enters. Oedipus tells him what Creon has done, and Theseus sends soldiers to rescue the daughters. He rebukes Creon for dishonoring both Thebes and Athens by using force against helpless guests. Creon tries to justify himself by pointing to Oedipus's infamous past, but Oedipus again insists that the gods drove those events and that he did not commit them knowingly. Theseus keeps Creon under watch and promises Oedipus that Antigone and Ismene will be returned. The chorus imagines Athens triumphing over Thebes if conflict comes. Then Theseus returns with Antigone and Ismene, and Oedipus embraces them with relief. He thanks Theseus deeply, but Theseus refuses to boast about the rescue. Instead, he reports that another visitor has come from Argos and wants to speak with Oedipus. Oedipus immediately understands that this stranger is Polynices, his son. Oedipus does not want to see Polynices. He knows the visit is connected to the war for Thebes, and he has no desire to help the son who abandoned him. Antigone and Theseus persuade him to listen anyway, arguing that reason should be heard even when anger is justified. Oedipus finally agrees, but only after Theseus promises that he will not allow Polynices to abduct him. Polynices enters grieving over his family's misery and says he regrets allowing Oedipus to be driven away. He explains that Eteocles has taken the throne, that he has gathered forces in Argos, and that he plans to attack Thebes with 7 armies. He wants Oedipus's support because the prophecy makes his father politically and spiritually powerful. Oedipus at first refuses to answer, but the chorus urges him to speak. When Oedipus finally responds, he rejects Polynices completely. He says Polynices allowed him to suffer exile and now tastes the same bitterness himself. Instead of blessing his campaign, Oedipus curses both sons. He declares that Eteocles and Polynices will die by each other's hands because they failed their father when he needed them most. Polynices realizes he will not change Oedipus's mind. He turns to Antigone and Ismene and asks only that, if he dies in battle, they make sure he receives a proper burial. Antigone begs him to abandon the war, but Polynices says his honor will not let him turn back. He leaves for Thebes, knowing that his father's curse hangs over him. Soon thunder crashes, and the sky darkens. Oedipus recognizes the sign at once. His time has come. He sends for Theseus and tells him that the gods are calling him to his death. Oedipus explains that Theseus must follow him to the hidden place where he will disappear, and that only the king of Athens may know the location. Each ruler must pass the secret to his successor, ensuring that Athens keeps the divine protection attached to Oedipus's grave. In a sudden burst of strength, Oedipus leads the way instead of being led. He takes Antigone, Ismene, and Theseus toward the place where his life will end. A messenger later returns to describe what happens. Oedipus reaches the edge of a steep descent and asks his daughters to perform the final rites. They wash and dress him for death, and the family weeps together. Oedipus promises that his love will repay them for all the suffering they endured by staying with him. Then a voice from the sky calls Oedipus forward. He makes Theseus promise to care for his daughters, sends the girls away, and continues with Theseus alone. When Antigone and Ismene return, Oedipus is gone. No ordinary death is shown. Theseus stands shielding his eyes, then bows to the ground in reverence, as if he has witnessed something too sacred to describe. Antigone and Ismene come back in grief, mourning the father they cannot even bury or visit in a known tomb. They beg to see his grave, but Theseus says Oedipus forbade it. The sisters accept this, then ask for safe passage to Thebes so they can try to stop the war between their brothers. Theseus grants their request. The chorus reminds them that human life follows the will of the gods, even when that will bring sorrow. The play ends with Theseus returning toward Athens, while Antigone and Ismene head toward Thebes and the next tragedy waiting for their family.